Hi, and welcome to the Wagner College Athletic Band virtual meet and greet. We hosted several of these over the past few weeks live for students, but some members of our leadership team have decided today to come together to host a pre-recorded version of the meet and greets we've held so that all of you can get a chance to connect with us and learn a little bit more about the group that you may call home for the next 4 years. So my name is Jessica Vincello. I'm a junior at Wagner College. I'm studying business administration with a concentration in marketing and a minor in government and politics. I am the outgoing vice president of the ensemble, and I'm joined today by 3 other members of our current or future leadership teams. I'm going to ask them to go around and introduce themselves to start off this session. So I'll start with Gage.
Hi, I'm Gage Miller. I play trumpet in the marching band. I'm the incoming president, the newly elected president of the marching band. I'm a history major, and I'll be a junior next year at Wagner.
Maggie.
Hi guys, I'm Maggie. I am the outgoing president of the band. I am currently a junior history major with a double minor in French studies and religious studies, and I play mellophone/French horn.
And Kevin.
Hi, my name is Kevin Noon. I am the incoming vice president for this coming year. I play trumpet in the band. I am a incoming junior theater education major.
Thanks for introducing yourselves, guys. So we're hosting this session because we are in a very strange place in the world right now. Unfortunately, we don't get to take the time this spring semester to meet with you all in person like we would normally at events like Admitted Students Day or Join the Band Days. So we just wanted to take this time to answer some of the most asked questions that we get throughout the year when we do get the chance to meet you guys, and kind of put them all in one place and have a conversation amongst ourselves. So I will be referring to a list of some of the most frequently asked questions that we have, and everyone will jump around and kind of answer the questions one at a time. So we're going to start with one of our most asked questions, which is, what is early move-in for the band? When do we do it, and kind of why do we do early move-in? And so I'm going to throw that to Gage.
Okay, so the early move-in is from Monday, August 24th to Wednesday, August 26th. And it ends right before freshman orientation, which is on that Thursday, August 27th. When freshman orientation starts, you are free from all your band duties from our early move-in. And those band duties are just outdoor rehearsals where we're going over our formations, we're learning our marches, everything like that. Indoor rehearsals where we're going over the music, maybe splitting into different sections, working on stuff like that. And then community events. So game night, movie night, ice cream, stuff like that, team bonding. We're trying to get to know each other, trying to introduce everybody to Wagner and the marching band. It's really fun.
And Gage, if someone's coming in who doesn't have a lot of marching experience, so I came from a high school where I never marched, and we have a bunch of members of our band who will be coming in who have never marched before, what would you tell them about what their kind of first experiences will be? Do they need that background?
Well, actually, I didn't march in high school either. I showed up not knowing how to march at all. I didn't know what was going to happen when I got there. I was actually pretty nervous about it. But very quickly, I learned the stuff. It's not too complicated. Everybody's there to support you. So some people obviously show up with more experience than others, but we catch everybody up really quickly. It's really great.
Awesome. Thank you. So the next question we get often is, what do I need for band? Do I need to buy my uniform? What do I need to bring with me for my first day? So I'm going to toss that over to Kevin and have him tell you a little bit more about what you need.
Thanks. So you do not need to buy your uniform here. It is fully provided, and you also get a t-shirt and a sweatshirt when it gets cold out. Those are all provided. There's no fee for it. It's all provided. There's 3 things that you need to provide for part of the uniform, and that is long black socks that you wear with the uniform, black shoes, like all black shoes, no markings or anything on it, and you also need to bring a garment bag, so that way you typically don't bring your uniform back to your dorm. We keep it in a place in our sports center, and that way it just keeps everything organized so we don't have a bunch of loose uniforms around. And those are the only 3 things that you need to provide us in terms of uniform.
Awesome. And so to go with that, a lot of people also ask us, well, how do I learn my music? Do I need to bring a flip folder? Where is my music going to be located? And would you tell us more about the music and how we access it in the marching band?
Right. So we have all our music stored on a shared Google Drive folder. So you'll just open it up, find your part, find the song, all that. It's pretty simple. So you can access it anytime online through Google Drive. And if you want to start learning that music before the early move-in, it should be shared with you sometime in midsummer. You'll get an email about that along with some other emails. So make sure you're checking your email over the summer. You'll hear from all of us and you'll be able to access your music that way.
Perfect. So the next question is about traveling. So as you all know, if you have agreed to join the marching band up until this point and you've had conversations with Maggie or Gage or Kevin or I, or even Professor Diaz, you know that the marching band plays for all of our home football and basketball games. But you may have some questions about whether or not we travel. So I'm kind of here to tell you a little bit more about that. So we do not travel with the teams for regular season games. So regular season games are anything in conference, out of conference that they're playing up until postseason. So semifinals, quarterfinals, and then finals championships. If the team does make it to any of those postseason games and they are within a travelable, a local range, so for example, this year we almost went to Jersey, then the marching band would in fact have the opportunity to travel with the team. But again, that's only if the team makes it to a postseason game that's within a range in which we will travel. However, as part of the marching band, you do have 2 optional travel opportunities during your time in the ensemble. So every other January, the band takes a trip as part of the Northeast Conference to Disney World and performs with other pep marching athletic bands from the Northeast Conference. So Sacred Heart and Robert Morris, those schools have bands similar to ours, and we would all go and you would play in Disney Springs. Then you'd have some time to spend in the parks with your friends, which is very exciting. And then on the off years for that trip, so again, that happens every other January. On the off years in May, the music department at Wagner College takes a trip to an international location. This year, the trip was supposed to go to 3 different cities in Italy. I believe those cities, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, but they were Venice, Florence, and Rome. In those 3 cities, we're going to do tours, and different ensembles, choirs, instrumental ensembles were going to perform in different locations throughout those 3 cities on the trip. And so the beauty of the marching band being a part of the music department means that we also get to take part in this travel opportunity. However, these trips again are completely optional to students because they do have some level of cost to the student, and so they are not mandatory, but they are fun ways to kind of engage with your community and continue your marching band experience while you are at Wagner. So on top of those travel opportunities, we get a lot of questions about opportunities for people who are classically trained musicians on their instruments. And so Maggie's going to tell us a little bit about her experience and some of those opportunities for students coming to Wagner.
Yeah, so I came to Wagner having had 4 years in high school of both marching and classical training on my instruments. I came fully equipped, knowing how to play mellophone and also French horn. And Wagner does have opportunities for classical musicians in addition to the athletic band opportunities that we provide. Through the music department, there is a concert band, there's a jazz band, there's different instrumental ensembles. In the past, there's been guitar ensemble, there's been percussion ensemble, and there's also opportunities for private lessons and scholarships that help pay for those private lessons if you're interested. These are really great spaces for musicians to continue classical training, to continue concert band music, to continue kind of just playing whatever type of repertoire you enjoy playing outside of an athletic band setting. And so if you're at all interested, please feel free to reach out to Professor Diaz if he hasn't already talked to you about it already. And he will get you in contact with the right people to make sure that you're on the short list to join the ensembles.
Awesome. And so people who are joining all of these ensembles and also taking advantage of the many opportunities at Wagner College may run into scheduling conflicts. They may run into times where they can't come to rehearsal or can't come to games or other obligations for the marching band. And so Kevin's here to tell us a little bit more about kind of how you would mitigate all of those conflicts that you might have as an active student at Wagner College.
Yeah. So there's three big points I want to touch on for scheduling conflicts. One is if you are a member of the athletic band and also a member of our Wagner College choir or one of the many choirs we offer on campus. It's important to keep in mind that since marching band is a part of the music department, Professor Diaz and our head of choirs, Professor Juno, they're in very good communication. So they do have a kind of understanding of what the other is doing. But if you find you run into a conflict, just reach out to Professor Diaz, and like he's totally gonna understand why you can't go. But like they will have a general knowledge of what the other is doing. And so the second thing I want to touch on is that if you have a conflict related directly to your major, which our two most common ones are if you are in the theater program or the PA program as well. So let's say you're in the theater program and you got cast in a show or you're a part of a production in some way, and you realize, oh, well, I'm going to be busy for the next 3 weeks and we have a bunch of basketball games. It's totally fine. We obviously understand that with your major, like this comes first. So again, we have a specific email that we have that you reach out to and say, these are the specific games rehearsals that I cannot attend, and we'll keep a note of it, and it will not come as any penalization to you for having this. And the third point is that if you have class, and obviously you're at Wagner first and foremost to be a student. So if you have a class, that obviously takes priority over whatever we're doing. So if you have a class during a game, again, reach out to the email to say, hey, I have class during this. I'm not going to be there. And again, no penalization. And if you have a class during our Tuesday night weekly rehearsal, there are ways that you can still be a part of the ensemble, but not attend that Tuesday night rehearsal. And if that does become an issue for you, when you're registering, talk to Professor Diaz about it, and it'll work out.
Yeah, and I just want to say, it happens to every and any member of the band at some point. Maggie, as the outgoing president, she has for the past 2 semesters had a class that's conflicted with our rehearsal time. And so you can still be a very active and very busy member of the band and take classes during that time slot and be in theater rehearsals. I was in a show my freshman spring that conflicted with the band a lot. So, you know, there are lots of opportunities to still be involved in so many things. So definitely take Kevin's advice and get out there as a student. And so we have one last question that I think we want to answer, and that is about borrowing instruments. Some of you will be coming to us playing the tuba, but you know, traveling from far away, and there may not be a tuba for you to bring. So Maggie, what are the options for students who are looking to borrow instruments?
Yeah, so I actually borrow both of my instruments. Both my mellophone and my French horn are not my own property. They are the property of Wagner College and Professor Diaz. And so essentially what will happen is oftentimes if you've already spoken to Professor Diaz, he already has you listed as to whether or not you need to borrow an instrument from him or the college. But typically what will happen is, again, check your emails. A communication will go out sometime this summer to you and other band members asking whether or not you need to borrow an instrument. If you need to borrow an instrument, when you fill out this communication, also keep in mind to maybe send an email to Professor Diaz so that you can, you know, just double check, make sure everything's okay. And Professor Diaz will then hold an instrument for you, and you will get that instrument upon your move-in in August. And then typically what happens is you keep the same instrument throughout the whole year. If it is a Wagner College instrument, if there's any issues with it, anything that's broken, talk to Professor Diaz right away because he's able to get that stuff checked out and fixed. Same thing if you're borrowing an instrument that he owns. And then at the end of the year in May, around finals time, around when our last performance will be of the year, he will take all the instruments back and he will clean them all, get them all fixed, everything. And then the next year when you come, you will get a new instrument again. And I, as someone who borrows because I live far away, it's really nice to be able to not have to travel with an instrument, since I do have to fly. It's really nice that Professor Diaz has the resources available to borrow instruments. So if you need to borrow an instrument, for sure reach out to him and capitalize on that fact, because he is more than willing to help you out as much as you need.
Awesome. Well, thank you three for joining today on this call. To everyone who's learning, sorry, all of my notifications are throwing me off. To everyone who is learning virtually right now, best of luck with finishing out the rest of your semesters. If you have any more questions about the Wagner College Athletic Band and all that it entails, feel free to drop them in the comments and someone will get back to you, or you can email Professor Diaz. His email is jose.diaz@wagner.edu, and he can either answer the question directly, or if you would like to direct it to any of the four of us or all of the four of us, please feel free to just put that in the email. We are in contact with him all throughout the year and throughout the summer, so we'd be happy to get back to you, and I know all four of us would be happy to share all of our experiences with you all and tell you more about our Wagner stories. But most of all, I just can't wait to see you all on August 24th. So thanks for listening, and have a great rest of your school year. Bye, guys.